The Ranger Brotato can be a super fun character, but it does come with some tough spots. Tactics matter a lot as the enemy waves get fiercer. This video goes over some tactical tips that have helped me, and I'm going to share them in the form of a weapons tier list with some handy overall points at the end. Just a heads up, this strategy focuses on stacking your ranged damage. Ranged damage unlocks the Ranger's abilities like nothing else, since it comes with a 50% ranged damage modifier at the very start. So without further ado, let's see how this Brotato kills when you let its gifts shine. First off, let's focus on your best bet, the submachine gun or SMG. The SMG is your best go-to for the Ranger because it scales perfectly with the ranged damage modifier that you get at the start, as we mentioned. Its low base damage and high fire rate make it exponentially more powerful as you scale up your ranged damage stat. While miniguns are also pure gold, melting the toughest aliens in seconds, players often grab the SMG first because it's more common and has decent all-around stats. It's a great foundation to build your arsenal on. You'll also see that the ranged damage upgrades provide a much higher return on investment than percentage damage early in your run. With all these bonuses, I'm putting the SMG at S tier. You can't go wrong with getting lots of these guns. Let's not leave the minigun out though. The gun works best with the SMG while also bringing a unique superpower to the table. It isn't the best gun to use as the basis for your whole outfit, especially since they're rare. You don't come across them all that often. However, as you enter the last 5 or 6 waves, it can slice through the heftier aliens like a knife through butter. This is mainly because of its rapid firing rate and extremely high DPS. This one goes in S tier as well. The crossbow is ranked as a decent secondary tier because it plays off of the Ranger's innate 5+ range, even though it's still not as good as the SMG. The drawbacks are that it has a lower damage per second because of its longer cooldown rate, but as long as you use it as a support weapon, it can also have long run potential as you stack up range damage. So, crossbow, A tier. Shredders and other explosive weapons can bust you out of some tight corners when you need it. They mainly provide a withering fire that clears away waves before they can gang up on you. This is especially crucial if the SMG's output isn't high enough yet to handle these pileups. Shredders usually shine best as temporary guns that can be dumped after they've reached their potential. Once you get access to the highest tier SMGs and the minigun, you can make room in your outfit by recycling them. Because of all this, I'm dropping it in the B tier slot. This strategy also works well with the rocket launcher, another explosive weapon. Rocket launcher does have a longer range than the shredder, which might seem like a bonus, but as we'll see later on, it can actually work against you. But in most other categories, it matches pound for pound the shredder's output and does even better when it comes to DPS. Do the best, of course, with what offerings you get at the end of each wave, but all things considered, I would snap up the shredder before I grab the rocket launcher. That's just my personal preference. But rocket launcher, also B tier. Now moving on finally to the pistol and revolver. I'd say avoid both of these if you can. You end up wasting the ranged damage potential when you have one or more pistols in your arsenal. The revolver, while usable, is usually the same story. It's just not as upgradable as most rapid fire alternatives, so both of these are going in the D tier. If you go on Reddit, you'll see that many players suggest a balanced strategy of mixing 3 SMGs and 3 shotguns, though others advise just skipping the shotguns altogether because they do require a heavy investment in attack speed. The SMG usually just lets the player focus purely on the Ranger's strength, which is of course ranged damage. But for my part, I'd say it depends on your strategy. If you favor more variety, I'd say you can invest in the double-barreled shotgun, but just know that you've got to take special attention on attack speed, which makes this riskier and can take your focus away from ranged damage. So you can cash in big time with the shotguns if you use them strategically, but they do come with some risks. So I'm putting the double-barreled shotgun at C tier. But if you want the easiest, most reliable method for my money, again, I'd say focus on getting those SMGs and upgrading them every chance you get, while stocking up on ranged damage stats. If you find a shredder or later on a rocket launcher, you can add them to the mix while continuing to upgrade your SMGs just to buy you more time. But just remember that these will only serve you well until you can get your hands on a minigun or two, because miniguns, if you get those, at least a couple of them, if you can, into your arsenal, you'll be able to dump the explosive weapons so you can focus on just raw DPS and ranged damage. As mentioned above, don't waste your resources on buying range. And the reason is because range also makes your kills farther away. Basically, the farther away your guns fire and the more kills you make across the map means in order to pick up those consumables, you have to travel a lot farther. So unless you're super speedy, making your way across the map is going to run you down. It's also going to make it harder to pick up as much coin as you could otherwise, which ultimately means less upgrades. I hope these points have been helpful. I'm eager to see more of this character since the bullet hell mode of Brotato is super cool, and the Ranger can be a fun challenge as well. Also, feel free to comment below with any helpful builds you'd like to share. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.